Hey guys, welcome to an episode of High Driving, where I pick up a high comedian and drive him to get some snacks. Today, it's Jake Weisman, because he doesn't drink and I'm a very accommodating host.
I want the kids to know this. The best you could ever feel is being high and having sex. 99% of life is a nightmare, but when you're high and you have sex, your life is great. And that's the best you can look forward to. Try to get as much money as possible. Capitalism is a nightmare, and so you need a lot of money to be happy.
Can you describe to me how high you are right now?
I am definitely way too high to operate anything electronic. I'm high enough to steal a major automobile.
How would you describe being high to someone who's never been high before?
Your head just feels lighter. It just feels like it's almost like something is pressing outward on your head, but it's positive. I guess I just like being high. I just like how silly it is and how stupid you sound. It just makes food taste awesome.
How paranoid do you get?
Very rarely do I get paranoid, but I did thought
that's a blessing.
I feel like, I mean, once in a while it'll hit very hard and you're like, oh, I'm gonna die in and out. But for the most part, if you just control how much you smoke, I think you can avoid it. But also, I did think about another version of coming on this show and only talking about how 9/11 was an inside job. And just literally being like a paranoid stoner.
What about the first time you got really high? What was that like?
Good question. I went to Europe when I was 22.
Perfect.
And we were like, let's go to Amsterdam and get super high for 2 days. So basically, what happened was we went to this bar and we got some pot, we smoked it was very strong, and then we ate a space cake. So a space cake is one of those, it's basically an edible.
Right.
And we ate it, and then we went back to the hostel we were staying in. And I get to my room, and it was like a 6-person room. I knock on the door, and a beautiful woman opens it, like a siren. Literally like a siren. And she's like, hi, how are you? And I just dipped under her arm and walked to my bed. And so I'm like, sorry, I'm so high. I'm so fucking high. I've never been this high before. I'm just so scared right now. I just needed to lie down. She goes, that's okay. That's totally fine. That's completely fine. No problem at all. And then all of a sudden, a man comes out of the bathroom that looks like a bigger version of her. And at that point, I'm like, I'm going to get murdered. I'm just straight up going to get murdered. Why is this man in this room with this young woman? And it turned out it was her dad. And he was like, what's up, man? You pretty fucked up? You pretty fucked up? You do mushrooms? What's up? And later that night, they did mushrooms. And the young woman, she was like 20, was sitting on my lap, petting my hair. And her father was just looking at us, and he was on mushrooms too. And I was like, he's gonna fucking kill me. His daughter is sitting on my lap. And he unbuttoned his shirt and just showed me his nipple. And that was it. The craziest time, speaking of edibles, I had on weed was when the first time I ever took a pot brandy, I went in an airplane, which is just such an unreal mistake. You know what I mean? I had to sit in the middle seat because I booked the ticket late, and then at that moment, a man sat next to me who had no arms, and he was wearing a hat, and I didn't know how he got the hat on. You know what I mean? And that fucked me up. So I just wouldn't turn left the whole flight. It was so crazy, and I wouldn't turn left the whole flight, and then I saw that he had arms. And that I just had been really high.
You kind of eased out of being that high, and then you realized it, or you just finally looked
again. I looked again. He had just been going like this.
Where do you want to eat? I know you're a little hungry. You're gonna be a little hungry.
I'm definitely hungry because I did drugs. Can I have a grilled cheese, please?
Yeah, for sure.
And some fries.
Absolutely.
And maybe a Coke?
Yeah. Stop asking questions, man. You can have whatever the hell you want.
I'm pretty high. Yeah. I came home one night with my friends. We opened up the garage and it smelled like weed. And I ran up to my mom. And I was like, Mom, Samantha's been smoking weed. There's weed in the garage. She's too young to be smoking weed. I was such a fucking tight ass. And then my mom was like, okay, I'll deal with it. And a few days later, my dad sat me down and was like, by the way, Jake, I smoke pot. So that's kind of how I was like, oh, okay. My dad smokes pot, and that's why he eats ice cream at the same time every night. You know what I mean? So I caught my dad, basically.
Wow.
It's actually has brought us closer together. Because it's
a
naughty thing we both do. You know what I mean? We have to go.
You gotta go. I get it. The meal is done.
This was a blast.
This was great. Later.